What's up, you fucking boobs? What's going on? Creepers. Hey, Kickers, Chris, the Atari Creep. How's everyone doing tonight? So, I was going to do the Lego thing. It's right here, and we'll get back to it, I promise. I haven't touched it since. And if you were here for any of the Lego stuff, I finally rectified it, you know? Richie Skulls, what's going on, brother? So we got that all settled and squared away. But an idea came to me, and I went looking for a picture, and ended up going down a rabbit hole. And I thought, you know what? I feel like streaming, but I don't feel like doing really much. So I spent hours actually doing something for this channel. And I took all these pictures and filtered through a whole bunch and just said, you know what? You don't have to show everything. But I thought it would be fun to go down memory lane and talk about this thing called the Gamer Geek Nation. If you watch any of my real early videos, the beginning of them will always have like a little logo of the Gamer Geek Nation. And the Gamer Geek Nation is what actually gave birth to the nightmare that is this fucking channel. I've spoken about it many times. This guy, David, he put together a Facebook page. The link is down below. If you want to. It's not very active, but it's still there. And you can go back and check it out and everything. And I found it. I don't remember how I found the page. It was, early days of me doing Facebook pages and such, being part of those groups and crap. And I was posting quite a bit, and I was doing really good as far as collecting is concerned. And one day the guy reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to be like a content creator for the, And at this point, I think there was maybe 1,200, 2,000 people following or whatever. And I was like, well, what does that entail? So he explained it to me, and I was like, you know what, that sounds like fun. He's like, all you really have to do is what you're already doing. And just put like a screen name, handle. We called it a handle then. At the bottom of it. So that's where the name Atari Creep actually came from. I literally, in a split second, had to come up with something. And I'm like, you know what? Atari's my main jam. Genesis is my favorite console of all time, but Atari's my main jam because it's my roots. And to this day, it's one of those consoles that I don't ever get bored of. I mean, there are other consoles that I get very bored of, even the Genesis. Atari, the original, the VCS 2600, I never get bored. So, of course, I'm going to put Atari into it, right? And then I'm like, well, I can't just put my name as Atari. And I looked over and my DVD collection was right there. My DVD collection. And I saw it was all horror. And I'm like, you know what? I'm into the creep stuff, the creepy. And the word creep means something different to cats my age, I hope most of us can agree with that, the guys my age. But so I just said, you know what? I love Atari. I love the creepiness of horror and haunted attractions. I was working for one at the time. So that's where the name came from. So here I am, an admin on this Facebook page. And it got up to, when I was active, almost 30,000 people. Last time I checked, it was like 44,000 members or whatever. But again, it's inactive. Link is down below. Hey, thanks, man. CVS, $5.99 on sale after Halloween, like a few years ago. It's very Skeletor-like. I keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to paint it, But I'm feeling goofy tonight, so I put it on. I'll take it off here in a few seconds. But so now I'm a member of this thing called the Gamer Geek Nation, and I'm having a blast with it. Made a lot of friends. The Cartridge Brothers, this cat named Dean, a handful of folks that I met on there, I'm still friends with on Facebook to this day, including David. We don't, talk too much, but there's a couple young ladies that were there. We still talk once in a while. A young lady from Canada that has a lot to do with the sexiness of, no, you're not going to get a picture of her. but she was the inspiration for a piece of art that you will see if you stick around long enough. I'm not going to draw it out too much, but I want to explain why the Gamer Geek Nation and going down this memory lane is so important for me. Because it was the start of all this. And then there was talks amongst the group of having a network of YouTube channels where we would create our own individual, almost like a Screw Attack. You remember Screw Attack? That kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, that's enough. You don't really need anything else. And it was going to be something like that. So I started the YouTube channel, not even wanting to. But I did because of that. And even though that didn't grow wings and take off, I fostered it on my own, and I got it going. And 10 years ago, this past December, is when I got things started here. So the Gamer Geek Nation was a big part of the channel. I was looking for one specific picture that I remembered, the very one that is headlining this nightmare, and I found it. I found it after a few hours of scrolling. But I met a lot of really rad cats. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I cut off my hair. I don't know if well, yeah, I think I already told you guys that. But yeah, it was a great page. Again, the link is down below if you want to go through it. Everything's still there. Trying to think of all the names of the people I met on that. This kid calls himself Champion. I'm not going to say his first name in case he doesn't want it out there anymore. But I'm still friends with him. Really good dude. I remember I got an N64 and it didn't have the pack in it. I don't know what you call it. I eventually started calling them all expansion packs. I'm not an N64 fan, which is bizarre because you're going to see. You'll see when we get to the pictures. It's literally just going to be pictures I'm going to scroll through. And maybe I'll talk about this, that. Maybe we'll just be like, hey, that's cool. I thought you should see it. But trust me, there were hundreds. And I had to go through them all and filter them out. But I eventually did find both the picture that this whole thing, this whole stream started, as well as the inspiration for it, which again, I'm not going to show that. I mean, I suppose I could have asked her. We're still really, really good friends. So, let's see. Oh, wow. Whole lot of talking going on. All right, what do we got going on here? What do we got? Tweet and Twender says, I'm here for the sexy surprise. Get ready, buddy. Swinging in the breeze. Digging the mask. Thanks, Richie. I appreciate it. It's sick white. It's got a little bit more of a bone color in person, but you're right. Oh, you know why it looks so white? It's the glow from the monitor. The sweet glow of the monitor. But it's just a cheap mask that CVS sells every year. And I just happened to get it on sale. You can get them on Amazon and eBay to this day. In fact, maybe I will get another one and we'll do that one on Skeletor. But I just can't bring it to myself to, to fuck with it. Paint it, make it more awesome. Yeah, Possum and Grits, you're right. I keep going back and forth. Hey, Alan, what's going on, buddy? My arcade is coming out with the Game Station Pro. It's got a trackball and a paddle knob. I'll have to look into that. Thanks for the heads up, bud. I really do appreciate it. Atari Game Station Pro. Okay, let me write that down because I will forget. Atari. My wrist is still. I should have my brace on. I don't even know where the fuck I put it, but my wrist is still all jammed up. Game Pro. It was dislocated. And I was out of work for 3 weeks because of it. And what sucks is I'm still doing light duty now. I'm actually doing office work for the guy. I'm doing office work for the guy, input and training that goes all the way back to 2020. It's so scary. I mean, the trainings were done, but they hadn't been logged since 2020. So he's like, you know what? I need that done. So I've just been using my left hand the best I can and picking and pecking with this one. And I'm like, he told me to stay home last week because it was midterms, so there really wasn't any lunches. I'm working at a high school kitchen now. It's actually really fun, and they're giving me some damn good money to do it. My old high school, as a matter of fact, where I graduated from. And if I had known he had that, I could have worked all last week. I get the first 2 weeks to heal up. The first week, I wasn't doing shit. Second week, I probably could have helped out by, cleaning and getting things. Hey, Chris, I need tomatoes. Can you go get me some fucking tomatoes? I can one-arm tomatoes, you know what I mean? I could sling a tomato at 12. Speaking of tomatoes, I was watching Papa Pete's stream earlier. He was playing obscure Atari games. And I got him to play Revenge of the Beefsteak Tomatoes. So, but yeah, okay, so that's that. Yeah, I'll check that out, Alan. Thank you, man. You look slick, Richie says. Thank you, man. Tweet and Twina says, looking sharp, Creep. Appreciate it. And you guys like the sweatshirt? I'm telling you, and I've said it in many videos. This is the warmest sweatshirt I have ever gotten. I've had this thing for a whole number of years. Is it still up there? Oh, you can't see it behind here. It's a canvas with the television controller all, blowed up and stuff like that. So, Alan says, Gen X Grown Up has a video of, oh yeah, you know who else is going to have it, right? That cat is awesome. He's always on it. He's always on it with the Atari. And I may not, like with most of you guys, I may not comment on everything I see. I'm there. I'm there watching. Believe me, I'm in front of this thing a lot more than you might think I am. Dude, my right knee has been messing with me from, a bowling injury, huh? Now, around here, a bowling injury means someone took the candlepin bowling. And give you a little wake up call. It's the cold. I'm getting old. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. We're supposed to get rain, snow some point in the next 24 hours. And my knee is telling me. My knee was injured when I was a teenager. I got piped. I cut through the wrong pack one night. And a couple dudes came out. And you know what sucked? I had like $300 something in my pocket. They didn't rob me. They just beat me out because the white kid was walking through their pocket. It was quicker to cut through the park to get home. I guess they didn't like the fact that I was there. They said a thing or two. I told them to go after their mothers. I got a pipe in the side of the face. Woke up a couple hours later in an emergency room. Let's see. Nope. Slipped going over the line in front of 100 people. Hey, at least it was memorable. You made somebody's day, bro. I guess that's the silver lining. Somebody's still talking about that. Joyfully. And that's how I look at my mishaps. Somebody is still talking about that pipe. Oh, that white kid with the metal jacket. You know what I mean? Giants Growing Up. My Arcade is the name of the video. Okay, CES 2. I haven't watched any CES stuff. Actually, no, I didn't even know CES was going on. I'm thinking of NAMM. If you know what NAMM is. Okay, so, what are you here for? What are you even here for? We're going to look at some pictures. Now, okay, so good. The chat's still there. I'm not going to be able to see my OBS, but I guess that doesn't matter. Again, these pictures aren't anything crazy. They're just some things I had posted, things that bring good feelings to me. Now, most of this is going to be 2014 to 2015. I wasn't there too long. Maybe 16. Probably a good 3 years, but let me move something here. I want to see if you can see my cursor. Good. I remember when I had the Mac, couldn't see the cursor, and I don't know if it was something I did or what, but so this is when I was living in Arizona. This is the game room. We had a bed in here because it was, so my girlfriend's daughter, what I was living with at the time, she would come visit us. Her father had full custody, or partial custody, but she was there more because of the school and where they lived and all that stuff. But she would come stay with us like pretty frequently, so we had the bed there. And she just knew not to touch that little section there. And this is me just slowly building it. I don't know why I didn't post any other pictures. The caption was about this thing right here. That was about to go on a Redbox. And I say about to go on a Redbox. I went in, and the guy had pulled it out. And I said, oh, what's that for? And he goes, I'm going to be sticking it to the side of the Redbox. I was like, oh, cool. I went in and got my smokes. I used to be a smoker. And I came out and it was still on the ground. I picked it up and said, it's a damn shame it blew away, huh? And got in the car and just drove home with it. The guy's like, yeah, man, that sucks. It happens all the time. Don't worry about it. And he went back and I was looking at the rear view. I think he grabbed another one out of his van or whatever. But that's where that came from. But you know what? And here's the thing. I'm not normally like that. I wouldn't do anything like that normally. But once in a while I get in one of those. I just thought it would look cool in here. But to go back to the bed, the kid ended up just sleeping on the couch anyway. So we never did really ever make the bed. After that, the bed ended up getting moved aside, and I ended up with this giant shelf for all my stuff. I don't think a picture of that's in here, but I can post it at some point. I have it in my personal Facebook stuff. But there's some pretty interesting things in here. Oh, shit. Let's go back to this. I want to zoom in. So up here in the top here is a Super Pong, I believe. That's a Light 6 Sears telly. And right here is one of my favorite dedicated consoles of all time. Video pinball. There might be another picture of it. This I don't know what I saved and what I didn't. Atari Video Pinball, CX380. Is it 380? God, I can't remember now. Greatest Pong style unit ever. Here's my Atari XEGS Genesis. You know, and you can see the rest of what's there, but. What you don't see behind me is a ton of boxes, me getting everything ready. So this patch here was actually, and I mentioned my girlfriend's daughter. My girlfriend was still really good friends with the baby daddy, you know. And I'm still friends with him to this day, even though I'm not friends with my ex-girlfriend. He's a really good dude. Amazing father. He's an amazing father. Good man. Really good man. But he found this at his mom's place, and this was his from when he was a kid. I have no idea what ended up happening to it. I thought I had it in this box, but when I opened the box up, it wasn't there. But he gave me that, and I posted about it, you know. Let's see, I still remember when you made a video talking about the At Games Atari Flashback Portable. You know what, let me... And you were drinking coffee and had the Scully cap with the Atari logo pin. I still have the Scally caps. I never think to put them back on anymore. That was kind of my thing. As a matter of fact, there was a couple of other YouTubers that made note of it. They wore Scallies in their videos saying, I'll creep. So, yeah, I just don't, maybe for like regular videos I wear them, but not something like this. But, yeah, cool. I'm glad. I can't remember who goes as far back as what, but I appreciate you being here this long, Alan. I can be a real prick. So, unfortunately, the way they saved, they're not in succession. So, I got these things from ThinkGeek. Actually, they're still right behind me. They're the only ornaments that didn't get put away yet. And they're a couple of ornaments. You'll see the other three here in a minute. But they go on my tree every year. This was the first year I had them. And I literally got tinsel just to take pictures of these. My girlfriend was like, no tinsel, please. So, because she had a cat. Technically, I guess I had the cat because the cat didn't like her. The cat hung out with me. But, and I named him Seamus Muldoon because his name was Lucky or something like that. Or Shamrock. And I'm like, that's a dumb Irish name. Let's call it, Seamus Muldoon. But yeah, I took a little tinsel, took the pictures, put it off, and threw it away. So, oh yeah, there we go. That's it, the CX380. I was correct. It says it right there, I believe. I believe it does. CX380 Atari. I got that for $10 on eBay. And what's best is the guy was 2 towns away. Two towns away. So I literally just met up with him. No fees, no, or shipping. Just walked right on over there. Or drove. Met up with the guy. I think we ended up having coffee. And he said this was from his childhood, if I remember correctly. And he was cleaning out his parents' place and he found it. But it was one of those things that no one ever used. And I don't understand why. As a matter of fact, this unit is my very first Atari video. So go ahead and, try to find that. Maybe I'll do a re-upload of it. So, and then a couple of games I just picked up. I didn't know there was a second Vector Man until I bought this game. I talk about being a Genesis junkie, but I'm not bright. I don't keep my ear to the ground. I absolutely knew about Mortal Kombat 2. That was my favorite of all the Genesis ones. Maybe because it's the one I played the most. And of course, we all know about the Strike games. Um, but yeah. If you've never played it, there's a couple of different versions. There's this one, and then there's one that's like all cream. And then there's a Sears Telegames one that looks kind of like this with the wood grain. But this is slightly different. You'd have to look it up because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I think it's the most beautiful looking piece of hardware. It actually has flipper buttons on either side and a paddle because you had pinball style games with flippers, but you also had pinball style games where you used it almost like Breakout. Fuck you, that hurts. Like Breakout instead of flippers, you had a really cool concept. And then there was this really rad basketball game on it. Still is on it. I don't have this anymore. I think I sold it off when her and I split up. We sold the place that we were staying in, and I had a split quick. I ended up having to couch surf for a couple of weeks before finding a place. So I sold everything. I didn't know I didn't know where I was going, so I got rid of most of it, and then the rest of it before moving Pia to Boston. So the only reason I saved this picture is because this was a good fucking day. I think I got these for $3 a piece. I don't remember how much I paid for the rest of it, but if you note the orange in the background, that was a blanket my mom kind of put together for me a long time ago, and that's how I would take all of my pickup pictures back then. And then there was this other dude on there that started doing the same thing. Honestly, so I said, you know what? I'm not even going to argue. I'm just going to let the dude have it. And then I just started doing it on top of it. We had like a little wet bar that still looked like 1974. It was awesome. Still had the button tuck, fake leather, and we may or may not see parts of it in here. But long story short, I ended up just taking the pictures there, or in a lot of cases, just wherever I was. It's kind of weird showing a picture without the post. But this was a post, and I wanted to show this one because it was very typical. Actually, the bar, that's the light to the bar right there. The post was because I was playing this game, and it was really pissing me off. You make life colorful. Thanks, Alan. I really appreciate it, my friend. And I oh my God, it was pissing me off, and I just said, I'm making a post about this stupid fucking game. As a matter of fact, that's the hat that's in my what do you call it? My avatar, holding the joystick, which we are actually going to see. We're going to see the original, and I'm going to explain where it came from, because it's pretty cool. So I made a post basically saying, hey, what's that one game that you play, but it frustrates you to the point of wanting to go outside and kick kittens or something, whatever. So this was the only picture I had of this wooden thing. I called this the mothership. It was this weird cabinet that opened up in a weird way, and then the top flipped open as if there was like a record player inside of it. But the post itself was, I think I said something about my OG Xbox and OG PlayStation weren't getting along, so I had to separate them. But here are these two getting along just fine. I don't remember what the post was. But yeah, this was my very first Dreamcast. It had that typical issue with the controller ports where the cap popped. And I repaired it, and it still never ever worked. That was the first of many Dreamcasts I've had that didn't work. I've yet to ever get a Dreamcast that worked. Whether I purchased it or it's gifted to me, they're always broken. They're always broken. And I can't ever seem to get them to work. So I've never really truly... I've played it. I've played the Dreamcast, but I've never been able to truly enjoy one, if that makes any sense. Look how clean my Genesis is. Oh, that's my girl. Love you, sweetheart. So, yeah, so you can still see that orange, the orange blanket thing. Yeah, okay, so it wasn't button tuck. It was that diamond pattern. That's the wet bar behind this guy. This guy's name is Heineman. He's from a prop collection I had. I had a full-size corpse with the same head. But But the reason we did this is there was something about make a sign and mention the Gamer Geek Nation in it or something like that. So I had done this one, and it's funny, I did it before I became an admin or a content creator for the page. But if you scroll down far enough, David, DVR, actually reposted it because I guess he said he liked it that much. That's where I got this one from. I literally whipped this up in like 30 seconds, on the back of a notepad. And I had stuff like this all over my house at the time. If I remember correctly, I think I sculpted this one. No, it was a mold I purchased. And believe it or not, the form, that's great stuff foam. You just spray it into the mold and just let it, harden and expand. And it's easy enough to fix pieces with just little pieces of foam if you get any air pockets or anything. And then it's painted. So, I mean, if you see stuff like this in haunted attractions or at stores and they're like $600, dude, just get yourself some kind of a form, make a mold, spray some foam into it. And there you go. Look how young I look there, huh? I'd fuck me. What's up, sweetheart? I don't know why I saved this one. Maybe because I was going to talk about the sign. And then I found a better picture of the sign. I wish I still had this Vader. That thing was awesome. I never took him out of the box, and I never connected the lightsaber. The blade is in here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. You can see it on the side. Oh, no, maybe that's the box. But regardless, still had the blade and everything. Yeah, I'm sexy. Moving on. So here's my avatar picture that you guys have seen for years. My buddy, Mr. Paku Paku, my buddy Gabe, he's a photographer. And he needed to do a whole bunch of gaming photo shoots and stuff like that. And he asked me to help him with the rigging and everything, being a hand. And we went to this place called the Gaming Zone. And you'll see a few pictures of it here in a little bit. We used to host retro nights there. And he said, real quick. And he came up with this idea, and we went into a closet. We actually used to do a lot of things in that closet for promo stuff. We did this really cringe, creepy promo for one of the retro nights. And if I ever find it, I'll download it and upload it to my channel. Providing, of course, Mr. Paku Paku's okay with it. I know he will be. But yeah. So he just did this real quick. And yeah. I just put the words Atari Creep with it, and that was that. They weren't even connected. Of course, you got to have your holiday stuff here. Here's the Sonic the Hedgehog. I'd made a post basically saying, "Hey, did you carve a pumpkin this October?" Again, I got to get the people doing their thing. So, okay, so going back to the controllers. So in the package, so we've already seen what the NES one. Obviously, this is an original PlayStation. I saved this picture because this was probably one of the weirdest controllers. Not in function, but just look at it. It kind of looks like someone took the flavor of Alien and mixed it with Independence Day. That's the best way I could describe it. And please let me know in the chat if you agree. I never did get this to work for anything. I never had a 3DO. I was kind of hoping, because it had a 9-pin, that it would work for at least the Atari, But I couldn't get it to work with anything. For all I know, it didn't work anyway. But I got it at a thrift store for like 50 cents or something like that. There was this one thrift store out there called Desert Industries. And they never really looked up prices. They just... A good buddy of mine got a little Samsung for 99 cents there, long after everyone knew about it. The Game Chasers had already talked about it and all that. These people, I believe they were Mormon, and they didn't really care. They just wanted to make a few extra bucks for their church or whatever organization it is. I think they were a charitable cause. You can look it up. It's called Desert Industries. But long story short, I used to get a lot of rad stuff there. I got an easel for $3 there, a painting easel, so that's pretty cool. So, yep, there's a Genesis controller. Now, mind you, those things are only like 3 inches wide at best. So, and of course the Atari. I made a mold of this, and actually, do I have a... I always have a piece of Atari around here somewhere. This one, the joystick broke off, but Yeah, I still have the mold. I still have the thing. And I made a whole bunch of custom color ones. I still have a bunch. Maybe I'll pull them out and see if anyone wants them. But um, we have a Desert Industry in Sacramento. Okay, right on, man. I thought it was just an Arizona thing. I'm glad to hear it's doing its thing. I saved this picture because this was an interesting day. The Mad Catz there, I think a friend gave to me. The controller, who knows, and same with Star Fox Adventures. But each one of these games, I was only going to grab, I think I was going to grab Bad Dudes. I can't remember. I was only going to grab two, but there's this dude that worked there. And this was at a Goodwill. Obviously, you can see the sticker. And every time I would go in there, he would have conversations with me like we were best buddies. I don't know if he had a crush on me or what. But it paid off this day. I was like, I'm only going to eat. He's like, no, do grab them all. I'm like, I only have money for two of them. To spend. He's like, just grab them all. And I went up to the register, and it was like $10 for the whole lot. So, with taxes and everything. So, he gave me discounts after discount. And broke it down for me, so. I don't know why I saved this picture. I guess just another day in the life of me out there collecting. Bust a Move 2. Didn't know it was on this platform. Played it a lot. Love that game. Never played these two. I think this was I was at the end of my I'll just collect to collect phase. I do remember the Pocket, the Game Boy Pocket. That was a 99-cent deal too. All these games here came from Desert Industries. I don't think they were a quarter a piece and they had the little cases. That was a really good day. I remember that day. I still have this. It was a GameStop branded controller, if I remember correctly. These pictures look garbage. It looked nothing like this. It actually looks more like the mask in real life. But I've actually tried to sell this a few times. I never really did. I still have it. In fact, it was in a box for the longest time. I even still be in that box, ready to ship. I had it on eBay. I don't think I ever put it on Etsy. Maybe I should pull it out, see if it still works, and maybe put it up again. Maybe use it. I don't know. It was a great controller. This was really fun to do. You remember when the customization of consoles was real popular? I'm talking about people doing it legit, like auto body work, legit. I miss those days. Yeah, another bad picture. Actually, I ended up stripping it a little bit and redoing it after this. But I suppose I just wanted to show you another angle of it. Subterranean. Oh my God, if you've never played that game, it is such a fun game. But let me tell you something about the controls of this game. It's very gravity based. Think Lunar Lander and stuff like that, But you're going into caverns. I mean, there's a few games kind of like it, So it's not like it's a new concept, but I think I got that on discount at the Gaming Zone, the place I was talking about earlier. For my birthday, they gave me a coupon for it, and they're the ones who suggested that to me. I would think I was looking at a different game. And they were like, no, how about this? I'm like, well, it's like $5 more. And it's like, don't worry about it, whatever. So I got my birthday discount. I got home and played the hell. This might even have been that day. Who knows? But I played the hell out of that. You know what? Maybe I should play that again. This is the back of the Gaming Zone that we talk about. This is before it became common. I'd never even heard of this. They had a lounge back there, and there was TVs all the way around. I think there's another picture where you'll be able to see it better. And then in the front was the actual store. So, like, you had to go through the store, and then there was, like, this double door open thing. And it brought you into this room. And you could rent, like, they'd bring a PS4 to one of the tables. Now, mind you, this is all jacked up because we were hosting Retro Night. So we had all the tables in weird places. Because there was a whole bunch of TVs with different consoles. As a matter of fact, this is where I got to play Street Fighter 2 on the very computer model that supposedly programmed it. And it was on floppy disk. I know a lot of you folks would know. It's like 6500X, 1000X, I don't know. But it was at this very night. It was on this very night. But long story short, there's usually tables along the walls, like small ones. Above it are the TVs. You can see the TV right here. in the silhouette with the lights. And you could do it by the hour. Sometimes Mom wanted to go get her hair done it was in a plaza, right? So Mom would go down and do whatever, and then the kid would sit there for an hour and play GTA or whatever, Really great place. We had carte blanche because I was part of this Facebook group called The Cunts. It stood for something. I'm not going to say it. It's still there. It's a very private group. But that goes all the way back to my early days of Facebook. But it was an Arizona group of cats. A couple of people, actually, one dude you folks may know that came out of that group. I think he started it, actually. He calls himself the Wizard Online. He's the one who first came up with the slime cartridges for the Ghostbusters 2 or whatever, and all that. A kid named Jared, really good dude. I like Jared. He's a good dude. That's the problem with you, man. Dropping the ball, no following through whatsoever. With what? What are we talking about here? Please, hit me up. Let me know. But long story short, this is me playing a Nintendo TV for the first time in the back of that room. I don't know. I guess because I was collecting television way back then too. The N64. The N64. So I just showed this. This was pretty typical of something I would have posted for a thumbnail years ago on the channel. As a matter of fact, I think this is a very specific one. I have a 2-part video talking about the N64 itself. And it was at this time where N64 just kind of fell into my lap left and right. Like out of nowhere. Like there's a story in this video where I talk about we were leaving to drop my girlfriend's kid back off with her father. And there was an N64, a couple games and all the controls and everything just on the curb. Just sitting on a curb. And we couldn't stop. We had to keep going. So we went all the way to their house and then we went and had something to eat. And the whole time, all I'm thinking about was that N64. And on the way back, surprisingly, it was still there. So I walked over and the guy's watering his lawn. I'm like, is this for free, bro? He's like, yeah, I had a yard sale earlier. It was up for $10. No one wanted it. There was a whole bunch of stuff here, too. That's the only thing that's left. I was like, can I have it? He's like, dude, get it out of here. You're doing me a favor. This one was a Desert Industries one. You can tell by the tag. This, I think, is the one from there. As a matter of fact, I know it is because of the yellow controller. As soon as I brought it home and posted pictures, a bunch of my friends were like, oh, what are you going to do with that yellow controller? Because they all knew I wasn't a fan. But I did eventually get a watermelon one, but without the controller, unfortunately. And this really neat game storage center. But, I don't know. That's what it is. Yep, here's a thing for retro nights. Really good time. The places in Tempe, Arizona, they got a couple of different locations out there. If you're in the area, stop in. Tell the brothers the Creep said hello. Yeah. I posted this picture because can you tell me, someone in the comments, tell me what's wrong with this? I bought the Mario figure. And they let me take the box, and I thought that was the greatest thing. I was just like, that's so cool. You let me take the box home? I don't know why. And I posted about it. Everyone's just like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Good for you, Creep. And I'm just like, now that I think about it, they're probably all just being sympathetic to my stupidity. But I guess AI over here is not going to answer the question. So, but yeah, someone tell me, look at this figure. What's wrong with this guy? You should do a live stream of you playing Elf Bowling for the PC, GBA, and Nintendo DS. I don't know if I have that, but that could be a Christmas request. Remind me, Alan. Keep me on my my point there, because I apparently have no follow through, which is true, which is absolutely true. It's not like that cat's saying anything negative. I have a lot of ideas. They just gotta go off in the wind after the idea's there. So you get what you get with me. We were talking about the Atari Portable earlier in the stream, weren't we? And I remember I did a video about the Atari Portable, not the one At Games did, but the one Blaze was first coming out with. And this was the picture I thought of when I first saw that damn thing. But what's with the wrench? Does that mean you got rid of the guy? Oh, you don't have to get rid of the guy unless they say so. I'm not really into getting rid of people, even if they're causing a problem. Because if I really thought the dude was giving me a problem, I would say, hey, this is for you. I have this on standby at all times. I saw this taxidermy. And, so if someone bothers me, I'll just do that. And if that doesn't do it for me, then I say kick them out. But no, leave people here unless we speak otherwise. But yeah, I remember seeing this, and I forgot where I'd left it, so to speak. And now you get to enjoy it. What a cool concept. I always thought that having the joystick on the far right was weird. But, no, for the Atari, that's how you would play the joystick, right? Not so far fucking apart. And I don't know what this thing, I hated this thing, the little thumb deal. Although I was never a fan of this console to begin with, the PlayStation there. Or whatever it was called, the PSP. I wouldn't do anything without permission, brother. It is what it is. But no, don't ban anybody. I don't even know if they were joking or if they were just being pricks. We haven't figured that out yet. They haven't responded yet. And usually if they don't respond, it's because they were being pricks. Or they got tired of hearing me and they just walked away. Yeah, so this is another view of the gaming zone. Where you saw me sitting was over in the back corner here. Not this night, but the night before that we had this. We done this for a couple nights. No, I'm sorry. We did one day, like a year later. What's his name showed up? He also lived in the Chandler area. I was in Chandler, Arizona. I keep wanting to say John Hancock, but it's not John Hancock. Actually, John Hancock's a real good friend with this guy, who's also a really good friend of mine. This is a good dude right here. He had a really good channel. Where he would take $20 and get a game and a meal, and he'd rate them both. It's pretty good stuff. If I can remember the name, he hasn't done it in a while, but if I can remember the name, I'll post it in the comments or something later on. But oh my God, what is his name? He also has a Star Wars channel. Big dude, John something. You guys tell me. You know who all these gaming guys are. He has an amazing collection. Real big guy, real deep voice. I think he went through cancer for a while. I can't remember. Best find from Desert Industries. Streets of Rage 2 complete for $4 minty. Yeah, hell yeah. I had a chance of buying a GameCom in the box with a handful of games for I think under $10. Maybe it was $10 for the whole thing. And I was like, what is this stupid thing? And I looked at it, I'm like, I'll never play this. I'll never fucking play this. I should have. But yeah. I just want to show this because it was one of my favorite games for the Genesis. If you've never played this game, play it. First of all, it's Sunsoft. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me pointing at it. It's a Sunsoft game, so you know it's going to sound cool, and it's going to play like a motherfucker. But the Death and Return of Superman is an amazing beat-em-up. It's a beat-em-up. It's more of the same, but if you've never played this game, I suggest either downloading a ROM. It's not a cheap game to collect, but if you got the ducats, I say go for it. I think I just wanted to say that, I guess. This was really cool. I don't remember where I got the image. I didn't know who did it. It was probably just something I saw on Facebook or, the internet in general. I just thought this was really cool. I mean, the place looks like a shithole. Look at it. So this is probably a landlord probably took a picture of this after someone moved out. Because it looks like someone tore up the place. The carpet looks, like shit. But yeah, how rad would that be? I always said to her, look at the view, actually. I never really noticed that. Where are you guessing this is? Oh, that might be an abandoned building. Look at the glass. I wonder if that's just an abandoned building. Someone took the picture. And this must have been done, just by a graffiti artist. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Dragon's Fury. If you've never played this game, it's I don't know if it's a port or a version of Devil's Crush on the TurboGrafx. It's a pinball game. It's amazing. And I remember doing a video on it on Easter. And I didn't even realize, I'm sitting here playing a game of pentagrams spinning all over the place. And demons coming after you. It's fucking Easter. It's fucking Easter. I think everyone left. It's only you talking, buddy. It's alright. You're good company. You're good company. Oh no, Alan's in here, I'm sure. This was at the front of the gaming zone. They had a bunch of really cool arcade games. A couple of obscure pieces too. A lot of Japanese stuff. But I had never played Super Mario on an arcade machine until that night. Let's call it whatever it is. In fact, I didn't know there was an arcade machine. I always thought it was just an NES thing, I knew Mario Brothers had a game. I used to play that all the time. At the bowling alley. Yeah, and I just wanted to show you the drawer here. I don't remember how many games it held. I guess you can count here and then figure it times two. But I didn't know these kind of things existed until I saw this at the gaming zone. I think it was like $20. Versus Super Mario Bros. Yep. Yeah, I can't see the other half of the screen, Richie. I have the chat all the way to the right. So this to this day is my favorite way to play Truxton. I did it as a video, and it was supposed to. Let me go back to, was it AI? AI. I'm proving him right here. I was supposed to do a whole series on hard games just using this Turbo Touch 360 controller, but I only did like one or two of them, and Truxton was the very first one. If you've never played a Turbo Touch 360, they made them for the Genesis and Super and regular Nintendo, and it's basically a touch-sensitive thing. It's literally a thick piece of plastic. And somehow something to do with static electricity, I'm assuming, senses where your hand was. The only problem is the swing is really wide. It's like a good 1.5 inches, maybe 1 3/4 wide. And for precision games, no bueno. And your thumb can kind of drift. And unless you're used to the controller, there's markings, really solid markings to let you know where you are. So you know where you are, but your thumb has to be in a specific spot of that section for it to register perfectly. It's a great thumb saver, I'll tell you that. And it's got turbo functions. You used to be able to order these on the TV. I almost said online. On the TV and through catalogs. I don't know if this company sold these in store or not. And if they have, someone, let me know. But yeah, Turbo Touch 360, Truxton on the Genesis. That's a recipe for a good orgasm. And I don't know. You tell me. Alan says, Etsy for custom-made 6-scale miniature arcade machines that really work and playable. Oh, right on. That's pretty cool. Let me write that down too. Yeah. Room of Doom by Atari. I hadn't thought about that game in so long. And Papa Pete was playing that earlier. Etsy. Very cool. Yeah, I don't remember what the talking point on that is. Oh, I didn't know this was the last picture. Oh, well, I ruined it for you guys. So, I seem to remember doing this in my underwear. I guess I didn't. So, okay, to back it up, there was a young lady, who, again, I'm still friends with on Facebook, but she called herself Nintendork. A younger girl, probably in her early 20s. Justy, what's going on, buddy? Early 20s, real pretty, real petite. And part of doing what we were doing, engaging with the people who were fans of the site or whatever you call it there, the followers, she would post some flirty but not dirty pictures involving her body and game consoles and stuff. And there was this one that was really good. Matter of fact, I saw it like an hour ago while I was going looking for this specific picture. And it was a picture of her in just like this tight little panty thing and a t-shirt that said like gamer girls do it bad, something to that effect, whatever. And she had, like controller wires on her, and she was just laying there with a nice smile on her face and had all this gaming crap all over her. So I think this might have been like the third or fourth picture, because if you look over here, these are dog toys, and I think my dog Cutter, I had this shepherd mix named Cutter, kept coming over here and making sure I was okay. But the caption I wrote was, I found a pair of glasses, so now I'm a sexy gamer girl, or something like that, That's when we made fun of the girls who would just find glasses to look dirty. So I just grabbed a couple of things that were just right there and just slapped them on me. And my lady took a picture. I built it up for nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was going to be the last picture. I thought I had a lot more. But, yeah, there's your sexy surprise. I mean, right here. Isn't that sexy right there? You guys know what that is, right? It's my favorite Atari console of all time. Now, I know you heard me say dedicated console earlier. Or favorite, it's that. The other one's a dedicated console. This is my favorite cartridge playing console from Atari. I just want to lick it. I want to lick it. Hey, Presidento Predicto. Do you think the XEGS will ever make a comeback in a mini form?
Forget that. Forget all of that.
Fucking asshole. Yeah, I still have that little Magic 8-ball thing with our friend Mr. Jump over here. So, yeah, I think I did a couple of different pictures, and there was a reason why I chose this one. I can't remember what it was. I think a lot of it had to do with the dog, and I didn't really want to get interspecies erotica into the picture for comments. But I did put I went to the guy who ran the site itself, and I said, would you mind if I put, he laughed, he was like, dude, absolutely. And if I remember correctly, Nintendo even responded, and she's like, are you picking on me? I'm like, nah, I'd never do that, doll. You're a good cat. You're a good cat. So, yeah, yeah, that's it. Sorry, guys. Anticlimactic as all get out. We'll come back to her. We'll come back to it. But, yeah, I mean, I had a great time with the Gaming Geek Nation. Really good people there. Made a lot of good friends that I still have to this day, mostly again on Facebook. And I don't know if they still watch anything I do or if they don't. But that's where Atari Creep got his start, as this nonsense that doesn't follow through with anything, because it is what it is. It was a great time. It was a great time. The games are still plentiful. They're still fairly cheap. It was actually starting to become a popular thing. It was right around that time. I mean, AVGN had already been out for a while, but the Game Chasers, I think, were shortly, or right around that time, I think. I'm pretty sure, because DVR is actually on an episode or two of Game Chasers when they go to, because they're from Texas too, well, you didn't know that DVR was from the Texas state of Yeehaw, and Gray Steak. And I think there was a couple of episodes where the Game Chasers went to his place or his friend's place. And this guy, he called himself Kingsley. And he used to post a lot of pictures of King in it, and he put a crown on stuff. It was so dumb. It was funny, but it was dumb. Good dude, though. But I seem to remember the Game Chasers hanging out. So it was somewhat around that time period. I hadn't heard of them yet. But, okay, 2013. Yeah, so they would have been... This started in 2014. No. It would have to have been 2013. God, I can't remember. 2013, yeah. Because I uploaded my very first video to this channel on December 8th of 2013. So I guess I started with them on 2013, not 14, like I originally had said. But regardless, it was right at that nice time period where things were still plentiful. You could go to 2 or 3 Goodwills because God knows Arizona had a ton of them, and still find stuff like $4 Game Gears and just the most random things. Where they are now, they're probably in collections or dumps. And I know there are still things out there. Games were cheap back then. Absolutely. Absolutely. People were giving this shit away, You'd go to a yard sale and you'd be like, hey, do you have any old Atari or Nintendo or any video game stuff from that time period? And I'd say at least 6 times out of 10 at that time period, especially if you went to the older folks' homes, you know what I mean? If you went to the people that I would have considered either my parents or a little bit older, like my girlfriend's mom still had their Atari in the basement when I moved here back here 8 years ago. And the TI-99, which I'm going to be re-uploading that video. It's called The Great Creep Caper. It's a silly dramatization of me getting into the house and sneaking the TI-99 out of the house. It was legit. I mean, that's what was happening. But I did it in a goofy way to make it a little less what it was. But my girlfriend's like, it was mine. Just go get it. Mom was out of town. She hates me. This chick hates me. She was out of town. We were doing the mail for her, so I had a key. So I went and took the TI-99. I still play it to this day. Once in a blue moon, I'll pass by a thrift store where there used to be plastic bags and NES cards for $5. Yeah, right. Right. And every now and again, you will get lucky in a thrift store. My Savers, the local Savers here that I go to, there's been times where someone's just like, wow, we haven't had this in a while. I'm like, how much do you want for it? And he'd be like, $5, just because he hadn't seen one in a while. Not meaning like nostalgia-wise, meaning in the store, But going back to that, they'd come out with something. You'd ask, and they would come out with something, And you'd just be like, wow. Give them the money. I remember I was at this church thrift store in the basement, and I asked the dude, I'm like, do you have anything like... It was a lot of like old people stuff, like clothes and knickknacks and crystal things for your shelves. And so the guy and I struck up a conversation. They were all volunteers, they didn't give a shit either way. But they were like, I said to him, do you have any like video game stuff, like older stuff, And he's just like, yeah, I don't think so. We got a PlayStation something, or Xbox. He was always getting Xboxes, and I never wanted a single one of them. But I could have had Xbox up the ass. I could have Xbox up the ass for nothing. But I've still yet to really own a 360 or play one, really. I have played on it. I think I played a Splatterhouse game on a 360. It was either the 360 or the Xbox. I can't remember. PS2, 3. When did Splatterhouse come out for those consoles? You tell me. But regardless, I was in the basement, and as I was leaving, he was like, hold up. And he had a shoebox. And that's the beauty of these times, right? The dude shows up with a shoebox. You ask, you have old video games. And he's got a fucking box in his hand, right? Anything could be in that box. Anything. You don't know until you open it. So you get the box in your hand, you open the fucking thing. Oh, hold on. Alex, dude, what's up, man? Thank you. I really appreciate it. Meow to you, too. Love you, brother. And not just for that. I'm glad to see you. Did you get to see the sexiness, Alex? I'll go back to it if you haven't yet. But he opens the box, and there it is. A crispy, clean Super Nintendo with like 8 or 9 games, and I'm talking motherfucking Super Metroid, Mario 64, Pilot Wings. I want to say Final Fight. I can't remember them all, but there were some really great titles in there. So it wasn't anything filler. Mario Kart. There's a couple others. And I'm like, how much do you want for it? And the dude said $9.50 or something like that. So I had a 20 in my pocket. I just gave it to him. I said, give the rest of it's all for the church, right? So I was like, here you go. You have no idea what this is worth. And he's like, well, how much is it worth? And I'm like, well, not that. So I told him. He's like, yeah. There you go. Thanks for the 20. I said 9 and change. He gave me a 20. I'll call that fair, you know? So, and I went there all the time. He would call me. He'd be like, hey, I just got what I think are video games in. And I'd be like, all right, I'll be there on Wednesday. And sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't, you know, or anything I would want. A lot of, a lot of Xbox 360 stuff. Can't stand it. Let me go back here. Alex, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Be so excited to see if a game you never heard of was good because it had a red label. Ah. Dang, Richies. I don't understand what had a red label. What do you mean by that, bud? Maybe it's because I'm tired. I should be in bed. I got to be up super early. What do you mean by the red label? I'm sorry, man. If it's something going over, my apologies. Dude, that was willing to sell me. Oh, let me get my glasses back on here. Fucking ass. Dude was willing to sell me a dedicated MK3 arcade for $300. The same purchase. Going to bed? Nice for you. I'll be in there shortly. Didn't have the cash. I had a chance at my buddy, the Gaming Zone. There was another, I think it was called Fallout Games, in the same town, Tempe, Arizona. And that dude had a Jaguar kiosk with the console in it and the TV and the whole thing. I almost got that for, I think, about the same price. $300 or $400. So that would have been 2013 because we had just moved into that home. And we went there because I looked up online. I'm like, oh, there are games. Because we were on the other side of the valley before. Arizona's, the Phoenix and everything is just broken up in two things. You have the East and the West Valley. And I was originally in the West Valley. Yes. And then I eventually moved to the East Valley, Chandler. So I was looking up game places and I saw that. I'm just like, holy fuck. What do you want for that thing? He's like, I don't know. I picked it up. The Jaguar's a piece of shit anyway. And nobody wanted them then. Nobody wanted them, but you could never find one. And I was just like, what do you want for it? I want to say he said $350. And he didn't go home with me. Because we had just moved into a new home. And we're broke. We bought the place, you know. It was a double wide. One of those double wide deals. They're all over Arizona. They're cheap too. It's really nice. Didn't look like it had been touched since the 70s. It was still clean and everything though. It was great. Let's see. The shoebox of games. I know. Well, the console was in there too. Oh no. Those cabs go for money now. Oh, I bet they do. You haven't seen it, Alex? Oh, no. There you go. You're going to have to rewind to find the story behind it. I was basically poking fun at a girl, a very pretty girl, who was doing this on a Facebook group I was a content creator for. So I did this in her silliness. But... let's see. Solid donation, Richie says. Yeah, thank you again, Alex, man. Alex is a good dude. He's a local dude. Though we don't hang out much or get to see each other much, he's a good friend. He's a good guy. Good father. Just all around good people. If you've been around long enough, you'll recognize him as Captain Obvious. That's who I used to call him that, like every time I'd play live or something like that. He would come up and he would stay quiet until I got dead in the game, and he'd be like, you died. And I wasn't sure if this guy was a prick or not, but I played along with it. So I started calling him Captain Obvious for both fun and not so fun, just in case it was going to go sour. But it turned out to be a good dude. It turned out to be a local cat. And he's a good guy. Y'all should give him a thumbs up. You know what I mean? He's a good guy. That's hot. I know, dude, right? But yeah. Has a 1/6 scale miniature of Star Wars. Really? Really playable. Does it have like a little mini yoke? Or is it just a joystick? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be mad if it doesn't have the yoke, but I would expect a joystick, but a little extra. A little extra. I mean, I couldn't. Well, I mean, I guess you could. I don't know. Putting things together. Seeing Alex around for a minute for sure. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. He's been around for a while. It is a yoke. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna look it up. It's on Etsy. Look out. Good stuff. Possum and grits. Gotta go. Peace and chicken grease. Possum, thank you for popping in, man. I really appreciate it. Had fun over at Pete's game and Puppet Pete's with you earlier. That was a great show. Some really cool games he played. Room of Doom. Again, I'd forgotten that game even existed until I saw Puppet Pete playing it earlier. He was playing another game where some kid was sitting down getting pancakes or burgers. And I remember the game. I've never owned it. But I can't remember the title of it. What am I doing here? Etsy. I'm going to Etsy. It's a 1/6 scale, huh? But I would do this on the computer for you. Oh, wow. I would do it on the computer, but I'm afraid I would probably lose you guys, but look at that. How rad is that? What is 1/6? How tall would that make it? Let's, oh, so you have options. You can do it with lights, without lights, USB lights, with game video, and working arcade games. $685. God damn. To have money. Just says it's 1/6 scale. Oh, here we go. So we're talking about 11 inches by 4 and 4.5. 11, 4, 4.5. So that's a decent size. It's not as big as my. I got this again. There's a playlist for it. It's an arcade machine about this tall, and it had a bunch of like NES style. I did a whole playlist on it. I got it for $5 because it wasn't working at a Walmart, and it turned out there was just a loose wire on the video feed. So we were able to fix it here on YouTube, and then I went through every game and played it. It was obnoxious because it was like, one of these things, and it didn't have a ball topper for it, and I had to put the phone in front of it, and the screen's only like 4 or 5 inches, But I did it for you guys. Alex, bro, you didn't have to do that again, man. Slow down. Slow your roll. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Oh, I didn't realize you could heart these. I'm going to heart your other one, too. That's cool. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But, okay, so let me put the sexy picture up just in case. And you really just wanted to see it again. Guys, I'm going to take off. I appreciate you hanging out with me going through this journey. It was nonsensical. It made no sense for anything, really. But what was your favorite picture in all of these? Let's kind of scroll through them real quick. Truxton with candles, Turbo Touch 360, the game thing, Dragon's Fury, art, a fantastic game, an amazing hangout spot that I miss. Did anyone ever figure out what was wrong with this? They put Mario's clothes on Luigi. If you look at it, now that you know, you can never unsee it. I got home, displayed it. I'm like, this looks weird. And I got it at a Walgreens. So it wasn't like it's a bootleg thing, But the person who makes it is from Spain. Right on. I'm sure a lot of fucking work goes into one of those things. This Pikachu here became a character called Pika-Poo. I got a toilet about this big and I jammed him into it and made like fake toilet paper and made the whole thing look disgusting. If you go to my Milieu Macabre Instagram page and scroll long enough, you'll see Pika-Poo. But I think it was a Happy Meal toy that my at the time girlfriend's daughter gave me. So I thought it looked cool with the controller, so I just left it right there. But Pika-Poo, yeah, you remember Pika-Poo, Alex? Didn't I send you a small pink toilet around the same time after I found the big one? But yeah, that was a pretty cool machine. The corners are broken off. What was that, Hero? I can barely see what that is. But yeah, okay, the Jason controller, which I still have. Just some random crap. Some dude lusting on me. Controllers, that thing. Tell me that doesn't look like Independence Day meets Wish Alien. Sonic, me. You never got it? Alright, I'll look at my pile of plastic pieces. If you never got it, then it's here somewhere. See, I didn't fall through. You know, oh man, look how shiny that bitch is. And that had the great this was the very first, I'm not going to call it a launch unit, but the very first production. And there was a simple way to know if you had the good video and sound card. It's something about, like, if the license and stuff didn't come up before the Sega logo, then I don't remember, but I remember I was playing and my buddy, that guy Justin, we talked about him earlier, Mr. Wizard, Jared. He was like, bro, that's awesome, you got one of those, and I looked into it, and sure as hell, it was a little extra from the rest of them. Contra High Corps being a pain in the ass. Diddy Kong, man, I played a lot of Diddy Kong. That was a fun game. One of the greatest dedicated consoles of all time, if not the. And this is where we began. My stolen thing. So, guys, I had a lot of fun. I wasn't sure about this, but I'm glad I did it. See your Sega CD, dude. I had the Model 1 Sega CD. That was a gift, actually, from one of the Atari I.O. cats. This guy, Chase. Really good dude. I should message him, see how he's doing. He has one of those Atari kiosks that you can play the games directly from the kiosk. And I got to play for a little while on that and had a good time with him. But yeah. So let me check the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. And I'm gonna go to bed, guys. Off the subject, but could you use some old bass pups? I know you fix basses at times. I have one bass that's mine, the Monster bass, and my buddy's J bass. Send me a picture. Send me a picture, because I have pickups for the bass, but I don't know if I want to use them now. Sorry. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I used a pair of them in my Gibson, or my Epiphone, and they're great for that, but I don't know if they're going to be great for the other thing. I'm kind of having cold feet on it, but which means those will end up going into something really rad. But send me a picture. Let me see what they are. If they're your typical J or P style bass pickups, then probably not. I had a P bass, but I gave the parts to a guy whose teenage daughter wanted to learn everything. The assembly, the repair, the maintenance, and of course playing it. I had an art gallery in front of my house this past summer. I just put all my stuff out there. And I sold a bunch of it. And he saw that, and he messaged me afterwards saying, because I had posted on Facebook, and he said, hey, do you still have that? My daughter really wants to learn, so I think I'll come back and get it. I think I was selling it for like $25. And I'm like, oh, it's for your daughter and she wants to learn? He goes, yeah. I said, bring her by. And I did it. Just sit here. If you have any questions, your dad has my Facebook. You know, no creep. But And he was like, yeah, cool, thank you, but we got books and all that. I'm like, cool. So I hope to see you up on stage someday. You know, I hope to pay for a ticket of yours. So they also made Donkey Kong. Yeah, they would had to have made a Donkey Kong at some point. That was crazy, bro. God damn. Yeah, Alex, just get with me in a few minutes. I'm gonna probably I haven't even eaten supper. I'm probably gonna make a quick cheese sandwich, eat that, and then go to bed. So, guys, I had fun. I hope you had fun. We'll do the Lego thing here in the next week or so. We need to finish it so I can get it up here and put this heavy sixer to use. I still have to replace a couple switches on it. My buddy. Arcade USA, that's where I got the hookup for that. And he's been waiting for however many years for me to restore it. So I'll read one more. Richie says, and for the record, Chris, I still have that box ready for you soon. Dude, fuck the box right now. Take care of what you got to take care of, dude. I don't give a fuck about the box. I'll make sure you're doing all right, okay? If the box shows up, it shows up. If it doesn't, in good time, my friend. But you make sure you're okay, all right? Guys, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take care. Creep it real. And bye-bye.